protein essentials. So basically what I'm going to do is just go over exactly why we're eating protein, why we're focused on protein, the benefits of protein, what even is protein, where can we find it, and exactly why it's part of the program. So I want to go over that quick with you guys, probably about 5-10 minutes of presentation, and then we'll jump into a Q&A and some accountability. All right. So guys, number one, what is protein? Well, so protein is a macronutrient. Okay. So it's found in foods such as dairy and meat. So guys, you've probably heard there's three macronutrients. You have protein, you have carbohydrate, and you have fat. And protein is the most important macronutrient when it comes to building muscle as well as burning fat. This is the one that we focus on in this program is eating the protein. Protein has a thermogenic effect on fat, causing you to burn calories when you eat it. So I want to just explain this really quickly as well, because sometimes this gets mixed up. And a lot of times we don't even think about this, but actually, when you are eating protein, it takes the most amount of energy to digest. So when your body is digesting it, um, when your body is breaking down the protein, it actually causes you to burn calories while you're breaking down the protein. So this is one of those things that a lot of times we just think of calories in, calories out. How many calories are you eating? That's overall whether you're going to lose fat or build muscle. And that's true to an extent. But what's great about protein is it has that thermogenic effect. So you eat protein, you actually burn a little bit more calories while you're eating it, which is just really, really cool. Kind of a fun fact. So the benefits of protein, protein is it's beneficial because it is essential for building muscle mass, increasing metabolic rate, and causing fat burn inevitably. It's extremely hard to overeat protein. This is another one I think I want to really, really touch on for you guys here is that protein is very hard to overeat. Because when you eat too much of it, you end up just you pee out the rest of it. It just goes away. It doesn't store as fat, like carbohydrates and fat do. And then this is the part I really want to touch on is it's extremely satiating, right? So that means that when you eat a higher amount of protein, it's going to make you very full and it's going to keep you full for a long period of time. So one thing to think about is when you're eating your meals, right? If you can eat your protein first in your meal, that's going to be your best route because not only are you going to be getting that protein, which is going to help you with that protein habit, but you're also going to be getting more full. So you're actually going to be ending up eating less calories with that as well. And any of you guys, have you guys noticed so far, any of you guys who have been kind of focused on this protein habit, have any of you guys noticed so far that it's hard to eat, it's hard to overeat protein? Just throw it in the chat and kind of let me know what you guys have thought so far about just the amount of protein. I know a lot of people when they start to focus on it's hard to do. It's really hard to eat that much protein. People don't even realize it. I've had a few clients who I've talked to and they'll be on a calorie deficit without even trying to be, just because we're trying to eat a higher amount of protein. And they'll tell me, they're like, man, I'm full all the time, but I'm still losing weight because the protein is just filling them up. And it's a great benefit of protein. So protein for body weight, Jewel said it's harder for me to eat that amount of protein because I don't eat meat. We'll talk about that as well, Jewel. Bring that up in the Q&A at the end. And I want to talk to you about what we can do because you still have options to increase your protein. It's definitely harder for you, but you can still do it. So protein, guys, for body recomposition. Now, guys, body recomposition is literally, it's just when you lower your level of body fat. That's all it is. So some people think of it as we build muscle and we burn fat at the same time. That's really the idea of body recomposition is, so let's just say you have two different people, right? You have somebody at 200 pounds, but that guy, let's say it's a man, let's say he's like 8% body fat. He's going to have a six pack abs. He's going to be absolutely muscle. He's going to be in really, really good shape. Versus you get somebody at 200 pounds, same. It's a man at 200 pounds, but this man never worked out, never exercised, say he's at 40-50% body fat. That guy could be completely in really bad shape as well. So when we look at overall our goal with fitness, it's actually body recomposition versus just trying to weigh less pounds, right? So protein is phenomenal for body recomposition because it allows you to eat in a calorie deficit and it allows you to keep your muscle, right? This is the goal of most fitness programs. And it happens when you eat a high protein diet mixed with a calorie deficit, right? When you can combine those two, you're gonna be doing body recomposition. You're gonna be keeping the muscle or building muscle, and you're gonna be losing fat. So you're gonna be sculpting out your temple, and that's really the goal of this program. And like I said, when we're focused on eating that high amount of protein, the calorie deficit ends up kind of just following along with that. If you guys are trying to get really specific, you can actually make sure that you're in a calorie deficit as well by tracking, which I am going to recommend you do track on the next slide, actually the slide after this one. But I wanted to give you guys some sources for protein. I got 2 slides left for you guys. So some sources, right? Meat, right? Jewel said that earlier, like she's not eating meat, so it's harder. It's true. Meat is the main source for protein. It's the place where you get almost all of your protein is from meat. I'm just going to give you guys some examples. We got beef, right? The leaner meat you can do, the better, especially if you're going for body recomposition. But you could do beef, you can do chicken, you can do turkey, you can do salmon, you can do tuna, tilapia, you could do, I'm probably missing some too. There's just options. There's so many options. Any kind of meat you can think of. Ideally, you're getting some kind of fresh meat. And what I mean by that is fresh meat versus lunch meat. Lunch meat has a lot of preservatives in it. We don't need to get into that right now. But ideally, you're getting like the big packages at the store where it's like a pound or 3 pounds of meat. That's your best route. Another option is eggs. Okay. So eggs are really great as well. I actually just bought egg whites in a container, which are helpful as well. They're full of protein. They're actually the best source of protein. So, Jewel, I don't know if this is something that you're open to too. I'm just shooting this out there. You don't need to respond right now, but eggs are a great, great source. And even just getting those egg whites in the container, you can get a lot of protein really quickly. They really don't taste like anything at all. But other than that, the yolks aren't bad on the eggs too. So if you guys are having whole eggs, you're getting about 6 grams of protein per egg, which is phenomenal. And then we got milk, right? Like we said, like dairy products have a lot of protein. So milk, you're going to have about 8 grams per cup of milk, which is great. And then we have yogurt. So a lot of times with yogurt, if you actually look on the back of the container, you can see how much protein is in it. But they should, if it's a good yogurt, it should have a lot of protein. I would look for the ones that have the highest amount. You should be able to get some that have 12, even 20 grams of protein per serving, and etc. There's other options as well for vegetarians. You could have beans, you could have tofu, you could have vegetarian protein, which you probably will need if you're not eating any meat, just to make up for the rest of that protein. Yep. So finally, guys, I just wanted to give you a quick action step. I think what would be wise would be to download the MyFitnessPal app. It's absolutely free. Find it in the App Store, and it's going to show you exactly how much protein you're eating. And this is going to be really key because if you aren't doing it, if you aren't tracking, you have no idea where you're at. And a big thing is, so I started tracking recently again because I wanted to make sure I was in a deficit. But I wasn't tracking for a long time. And the reason I wasn't tracking was because I already had developed these 4 habits. And I got to a point where now that I'm tracking, I can see exactly how much protein I'm eating. But I was eating over 200 grams of protein every day on a consistent basis without even tracking because I had taken the time to track and really figure out how much protein I need in each day. And I did that probably 3 or 4 years ago, right? And after I did that 3 or 4 years ago, I spent probably 3 or 4 years where I knew I was getting enough protein every day. And I've been able to basically not think about my diet for the last 3 or 4 years, continually get stronger, continually stay lean, probably under 15% body fat for sure, where I have abs all the time, year round. And this isn't because I'm so good or great. It's because I just took the time to develop the habit over the before. And once it was developed 3 or 4 years ago, it was automatic. And like I said, now I'm kind of going back into tracking to just see, but to go in more of a deficit. But it's really worth it. So my action step for you guys is download that MyFitnessPal app, track how much protein you're currently eating. Remember, the goal is 1 gram per pound, I would say, of goal body weight. So that's my action step for you guys. That's all I got for you guys. I'm gonna jump on and actually bring some people on now. So let me check out the chat quick. And yep, Kent says yes, it's hard to eat that amount of protein even with meat. True. Amber said MyFitnessPal made me realize I was taking in way too much sodium. Yeah, and a lot of times that is because of the preservatives, especially when it comes to lunch meat. And I know Amber, me and you had talked, and that was about the preservatives in the canned products, the canned beans specifically. That is something to think about too. But the biggest thing is to just focus on that protein. So I wanted to just invite, does anybody have any questions about that presentation, about the protein, anything like that? Let's see if I can stop the share. Okay. Doesn't seem like we have any questions right now. What I'm gonna do, can we kind of do a little hot seat? Is that okay with you guys? I kind of want to see how you guys are doing. Is that all right with everybody? Yeah. Okay. I see Jeff first. Jeff, are you up to jump on and just let me know kind of how stuff is going for you? I want to just make sure we're still going strong. Are you down for that, Jeff?
Hey Derek, I'm on the road right now, just a few
Okay.
minutes away from being home, so
I'll
I'd like
skip
to
you, Jeff.
kind of defer to the end if
Yeah.
possible.
We'll come back to you, Jeff. Awesome. How about Keisha? Can we talk to Keisha?
Sure.
How we doing, Keisha?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
The big win here is that I have definitely increased my water intake.
Let's
So,
go. Good work.
I was shooting for just a half gallon a day,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
now, as you can see, it's 11:14 a.m. here, and I've
Nice.
already drank that much.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, so I'm now shooting for a full gallon
Okay.
every day, and it's getting easier and easier to get there.
Good
So,
job. What a progress step. That's huge.
I didn't drink that much water ever. So,
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Just keep at it, Keisha. That's perfect. Keep going. How about what's your biggest struggle right now? Or is that kind of like that's where you're going? That's your focus right now is the water, and you're just kind of zoned in on that for right now.
uh, I have been trying to increase my steps and increasing my protein,
Okay.
neither of which am I meeting my marks,
Okay.
but I'm aware of it
Yeah.
and working towards
Yeah.
trying to incorporate more protein into my meals.
Good
One
work.
of the things that I noticed though is that I've been trying to donate plasma,
Yep.
and my protein levels are actually pretty high when I
Okay.
go in for that. And they're like, "Oh, you're going to be over. You need to cut back on your protein." And I'm like,
Huh.
"Okay, that's interesting." So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know what's going on with that, but
Okay.
I don't know. We'll figure that out. There's got to be a balance in there.
Yeah, I would definitely, if you're concerned with it, and if they're kind of treating it as if it's something to be concerned about, definitely uh talk to like your doctor or whoever it is that can, help you identify why that is. Uh
Yeah.
it's and I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I couldn't tell you why it is, but it's really rare for the amount of protein you eat to end up showing in any sort of test like that in a negative way. But some people have certain things that they're not able to eat as much protein. Like that's just a thing. But I would definitely ask them and just see what they think.
Well, I
yeah.
did just this week I
Yep.
was getting a routine blood panel with
Okay.
the doc. So
Yep.
like the doctor, my doctor, not the plasma people.
Okay.
And so I should get the results back from that
Perfect.
any day now, and
Perfect.
we'll
Perfect.
have a
Nice.
conversation with my doc about that.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Well, hey, awesome job, Keisha. Just even with the water, that's huge. And increasing that is a giant step of progress. I think with this program, ultimately, the goal is just to slowly get more and more every week of those check boxes. So you're working your way toward that. It's going to be a process, but that's what we expect. And that's perfect, Keisha. That's phenomenal.
yep. All right. That's it
Sweet.
for me.
Thank you, Keisha.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Can could we get Kent on here? Kent, you up for one?
Yeah, sure.
How you doing, Kent?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, really good. How's everything going for you? I know you just went on a trip, right? You just went on a nice trip there.
Yeah, and
Nice.
I didn't do very good at all tracking.
Yep.
I got a lot of steps in because my
Hey,
wife
that's
and I
big.
love to hike, and
Nice.
I've got a bunch of questions, but I'm kind of the odd
Okay.
guy out. So if you decide you don't want them all in the public forum, well, that's
Okay.
fine because
Sure.
um
It's up to you. If you're okay telling them in the group setting, I'm down to take them.
I'm okay with it. I just don't want to take other people's time. And
Okay.
the reason I said I'm the odd guy out is
Yep.
because I had a ton of stomach problems earlier years,
That's right.
and I'm actually wanting to gain weight at
Okay.
least a little bit.
100%. Yeah.
And so that makes me kind of odd. I mean, I've
Yeah.
actually went to a doctor that's got me straightened out, and I've actually gained weight for the first time in the last couple of years.
Nice.
And but I'm noticing at my age it's all going to my belly, so
Okay.
I'd like to make sure that it goes to arms and legs, and
100%.
not a old man belly.
So what did your doctor kind of give you for nutrition advice? What are you doing right now for nutrition?
Well, I'm on a pretty crazy diet.
Okay.
Basically no gluten, eggs, or dairy, and no nightshade plants,
Okay.
and a bunch of supplements. And yeah,
Okay.
he completely turned me around
Mm-hmm.
with that. And I found a doctor that basically does blood work and subscribes supplements or drugs, whichever
Sure.
he thinks is best, is the kind of doctor I'm going to. So
Sure.
um yeah, protein is hard for me because I don't eat eggs or dairy.
100%. Does
And I don't
and is he okay with you taking, do you take any protein supplements?
I don't because most of the as a personal choice, I pretty well completely quit all processed sugar because
Okay.
I was headed for diabetes already at 25. The doctor told me the
Wow.
way that was
Yeah.
partly my bad lifestyle when I was young.
Yep.
And
Oh,
so a lot of protein supplements either don't taste good or they have too much sugar.
yeah.
And I eat a lot of grass-fed meat,
Nice.
and I don't really feel like I'm hungry enough to drink protein
Sure.
supplement and drinks. But
Yeah.
anyhow, that's
So I'll shoot two things in there right there. One would be some of the proteins right now. I know, like the one that I take, it has artificial sugar in there. It has sucralose, so it's not actual sugar. Um, and it tastes pretty good. Um, Now I don't know if you got to completely avoid artificial sugars as well, or is it just mostly it was the decision I'm gonna skip the sugar versus like an artificial sweetener? Is there like a differential there for you, or is it kind of both of those?
Well, I've pretty well stayed away from artificial sweeteners
Got it.
because some of them aren't good for you.
Yep.
I
for sure.
pretty well do maple syrup and honey only for my
Okay.
sweet. So
Nice, nice. That's
um,
good. That's good.
and I eat. My wife makes homemade granola for me, and I eat a lot of that. But that's more of a carb, I suppose. But
Sure. Another thing I would recommend, Kent, I would just, before you do anything, if you are up for it, I would just track and see where you're at for protein this week. Just, have you
I
done that?
tracked right before I left on vacation,
Okay.
and it was pretty. I had to be pretty focused to get up to 160 grams with,
Can you
the
do it?
way I eat. So
Yeah. Did you get up there?
yeah, I got to 160 grams without eating. A whole lot different, maybe just
Oh man,
two hamburgers instead of one. But
nice. You're probably that. So that would be, Ken, that would be my biggest recommendation then, is just keep the diet you got going, and just add that little bit if it's especially if you're trying to gain weight right now, right? If it's two burgers instead of one, just to get up a little bit higher with protein and even with calories too, that would help. Another thing I wanted to mention is, I think you could, and I don't know your exact conditions with stuff and what your doctors would recommend, but if you're trying to get that weight to sit well and build as muscle versus just in the belly, I think that's where the lifting weights comes in handy, and getting into some sort of workout routine. That's when you start to put the muscle on a little bit more. Yep.
and I do pretty well strictly body weight exercises, and
Okay.
I've never been real routine with it, because if I'm extra active
Yeah.
at work or something, then I don't do that quite as much. So maybe I need to stick with it, even if I'm getting a lot of leg exercise, I still need to do my push-ups and stuff like that, probably.
Yeah. I would keep doing some of that stuff. And if you haven't, I know, if you haven't and you get a little bit of time to, I wouldn't be against recommending to you also doing a weightlifting routine if you have access to some sort of weights, even if it's 2 to 3 times a week. That could definitely help kind of put you over with building the muscle.
Yeah, I'm a long ways from a gym and don't have any, but
Fair.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I could look into that. I just have a chin and bar in my basement and do
Hey, that's
push-ups
good.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That's good too. I mean, that's stuff you can do a lot with just body weight.
Mhm.
So that's good too. But yeah, Kent, let's we'll jump to somebody else here, but definitely, you seem like you got a little bit more for sure to think about. But I think overall, if your doctor's okay with it, just keep that protein high by just doing your natural stuff. Increase the amount of meat just slightly. You're already so high up there that you're crushing it. It's probably for you more so because you're so active too. It might be adding in those workouts that really helps you keep it off the belly and keep it more into the muscles. I wouldn't. I would say maybe try to just stay consistent with some of the stuff that you've been doing, even if it's 3 days a week consistently, whatever it is. But jumping into some kind of routine there, I would say.
How do you know how much is enough? Like
Versus too much.
with our hiking we did when we were on vacation. I did like 16,000 steps in one day, and then I was so sore that I couldn't hardly do any on, of course.
Yeah. So I would say with the steps on a regular basis, are you around, because you're a pretty active guy, are you around 10,000 on a regular basis with the steps?
No, I just started tracking since you started this, and probably
Okay.
on a good day I was around 5,000 on a
Okay.
regular normal day.
Okay. Then, maybe what you could even do, Jeff, is more so focus even, I mentioned the weights and the workouts, and that is a good idea, but that might be going a little too far ahead of time. What could be even better would be to slowly build the steps up into a place where you are getting that 10,000 every day. Because then you know that you are using you know, using your body to move and to build those muscles versus you know, if you're eating a lot of food, you're gaining weight, but you're not really using the muscles a whole lot, or you're you know what I'm saying? You just gotta if you can get that activity built up, I think that'll help you out for sure. So maybe focus on those steps instead of focusing on the workouts, just try to build those steps up to a place where you're getting around 10,000. The protein you sound like you're actually doing pretty good on right now overall.
Yeah, and I'd like to get the steps up eventually to where I could do more like a 10-mile hike without it phasing me too much. I mean,
How awesome would that be?
15,000 steps only equated, according to my tracker, about 5.5 miles. So,
See, and that's a great goal, especially if you guys love hiking.
but that's
Yeah.
what I used to do when I was young. 10 to 15 miles in a day, and
Yeah.
it'd be cool to get back to that if I could.
100%. There you go, man. There's your goal. You just talked it. You just got it right there.
But
Just start hitting the steps, man. That's great, Jeff. That's your focus, man. And awesome. Appreciate you, Kent. Let's get. Can we get? Can we get Liz or Jeff or Amber or Jewel?
Hello.
Let's go, Liz. How's it going, Liz?
Oh, good. How about you?
Good. So how's everything going for you with the program so far?
It's going good. I think it's helping me be a little bit more aware of my activity levels.
Nice.
I just trying to make more of a conscious effort when each day to make sure that I get enough exercise. Kind of like with the everything else we're doing with the program. So
Okay. Nice. In terms of more so steps, are you talking? Getting the activity in?
not so much steps.
Okay.
Because I do other things like I play pickleball.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, a couple times during the week, but I can't count it. I'd be curious of what the steps are when I'm doing that, but I can't. I don't have a way to track that right now.
Okay.
So, but I just added an extra day. I was doing 2 days with that. Now I'm doing a 3.
Nice.
So I'm just trying to make sure that the other 2 days after that, at least 5 days, I have some, a lot of activities. So
Okay. Nice. And what kind of phone do you have? Do you have an iPhone or do you have a different phone?
iPhone.
iPhone. So if you pull up, there's the little health section on the iPhone. If you
Yeah.
pull that up, that'll actually track your steps for you on there too.
Yeah, I found that. Actually, I didn't know about that until last week
Oh,
because
nice.
of the program.
Yeah, it's
And
a fun little hack.
yeah, that was kind of an eye opener too.
Yeah.
I think during the weekends I'm a whole lot more active, but
Yeah.
but which makes sense because I was working from home. So
Sure. And where are you at for steps right now? Did you find out kind of last week where you were around for that?
oh, on my phone.
Yeah, did you kind of find out what was like an average day for you or not really yet?
Well, yeah, it says I'm average about 2,000 steps a day or
Okay.
to 5, which doesn't, like I said, I don't know if it's tracking everything I'm doing. Probably now my situation has changed a little bit. But I find I'm more active during the day, but like if I'm not carrying my phone while I'm
Yep.
moving around, it can't track that.
Right. That's the only negative of the phone tracker.
Yeah.
Is that it won't track if you don't have your phone with you, but it can give you kind of an idea of where you're at a little bit.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't know what it was until you
Yep.
mentioned something about our steps, and I was like, wait a minute, my phone probably has something, and then I looked
Yep.
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I mean, so that's great. That's great. So sometimes if you're doing activity and you don't have the phone with you, it makes
Right,
it a little bit tougher to track the exact amount of steps. But overall, I mean, I think you get the gist. The idea of the 10,000 steps is to basically
right,
just be more active through the days.
right,
So even if you can plan that, you know, if you're like, hey, I'm going to shoot for maybe it's even 4,000 steps on my phone, you know, where I'm just, and that could be, you know, you're working from home, doing some work, you're just kind of doing some steps around the office or walking around the home a little bit. And then,
yeah,
you know, I'm going to try to get maybe 4,000 a day. And then I'm going to I'm gonna keep my, like you said, like I don't remember exactly how many days, but you said like 5 days a week that you're going out and doing some pickleball or something active like that. Um,
Right.
that'll definitely help in terms of activity. But yeah, and also there are options if you ever, wanted to invest into something like a Fitbit or, some kind of
Mhm.
watch. That's obviously a great way to keep track of steps, but it's just such an efficient way to get yourself back in shape, um, without having to stress too much, is just increasing those steps slowly, and it makes it's the easiest way to burn calories. Um,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah.
the biggest thing issue I had was, well, working from home.
Mhm. Yeah.
That has its challenges.
Yep.
But working, I had a schedule, so I had to be on a more specific time eating
Sure.
versus when I was hungry versus, well, it's time to eat.
Mhm.
I think that, to me, I think that's probably the biggest challenge. I think ends up eating probably times where I really wasn't hungry, but if I don't eat now, I gotta wait a few more hours. So I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you haven't yet, I would recommend, just checking out the MyFitnessPal, the food tracker. Um,
Okay.
what that's going to do for you is it's going to actually give you an idea of how much you're eating each day. Um, and it's going to show you how much protein you're eating each day. And in this program, we're trying to eat a high protein diet. So, with that, you'll be able to see actually where you're at for protein. Um, and also just where you're at for calories. It'll give you a good marker so you can actually, get a real idea of what your diet's looking like right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. Um, so I've been gluten free for about 15, 20 years
Yep.
now. But I recently, about 3 months ago, I kind of
Mhm.
found out that if I do fresh milled
Yep.
flour and make my own breads and stuff like that, I could actually eat that and it doesn't
Wow.
bother me at all.
Nice.
And
That's pretty-
actually, I found it didn't affect my weight at all, which was kind of surprising because before I didn't mind being gluten free because it kept me away from some of that stuff.
Right.
So I was kind of surprised with that. And there were actually a lot of health benefits. I saw improvements in my body on that. So,
That's amazing.
but because I probably could have. I think I need to adjust a little bit because being without it for so long, I'm really been enjoying it. So,
Yeah. And just
um,
just check it
yeah,
out, Liz. I mean, just check out the
yeah,
MyFitnessPal, see where you're at. Even just
okay.
this week and next week, you're gonna be like, oh, I realize where I am at least. You'll have some sort of measurement there.
Where's that at? Is that
So it's just an app that you can just look up
Oh, okay.
in your app store. It's just called MyFitnessPal, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
a super popular one, but it's free, and you just put in the food that you eat and the amount
Okay.
of food. It's great. Yeah,
Okay. That'd be great. Thanks.
awesome. Yep, thank you, Liz. Can we
Have a
get
great day.
you too, Liz? Thank you. Can we get Jeff on here? I know Jeff, I talked to you earlier or had you on earlier, and I'd love to get you on here, Jeff.
Yeah. Hey, Derek.
How we doing?
Pretty good.
Good. I'm gonna give you, Jeff. Let's run it for about 3 minutes because I want to go back to Jewel too, and I want to give her some vegetarian options. I just remembered that. So,
Yeah.
Jeff, how's
And I
how's
probably
it
don't
going?
even need that long, but
Nice. How's it
um,
going?
in general, with the four things,
Yeah.
6 out of 7 days, check the box this week for the sleep,
Okay.
which was the same as last week. But then last week, those were the only boxes that I had checked.
Yeah.
So this week I added 2 of the days where I did get in a gallon of water. So that's
Let's
probably
go, man. Good
the
stuff.
largest improvement area. And then I have not accomplished the goal body weight of grams in protein yet, or the 10,000 steps a day yet, but
Okay.
working on improvements in those areas. So
Good
expect
stuff.
to get there here at some point.
Good work, man. Are you getting close with the protein?
No, I would say not yet. I think that's an area where I need to kind of examine what changes I need to make. And I think probably one of the things for me is figuring out where to transition what I've traditionally done as carb-based snacks into protein-based snacks.
100%. And what I've been doing lately, like I told you guys at the beginning, I've switched into a calorie deficit where I'm eating a lot less calories right now overall. Not a lot, but like 400, 500 less a day. It's super, super simple stuff. It's literally substitute. Okay, usually I have rice and chicken for lunch. Now I'm gonna have what I've been doing is salad and chicken. just because you can have as much salad as you want and it's no calories. But my point is, throw the chicken in there, 8 ounces of it, you're cranking out like 50 grams of protein right there. It's just those subtle changes that I think are going to make a big difference for you. And you know that, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome, Jeff. Yeah, keep it up, man. Steps, you getting up there with the steps?
No, that's probably still my largest struggle area because I do work at home,
Do you have
that's
a work
stuff
at
or
home-
whatever. So
do you have a work at home treadmill yet or not yet?
no, so yeah, still working through that.
I was kidding. Awesome, Jeff. Appreciate you, man. Good job improving. And I hope to see even more next week, man. That'd be
Yeah,
great. Awesome. And Jewel, I want to get you on here. I want to give you some ideas for protein.
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
awesome.
For vegetarian. So basically, do you do eggs at all or no eggs?
I do, yeah. So I can eat meat. I do eat
Okay.
pescatarian, so I
Oh,
can
you
eat.
eat fish.
Yeah, I can eat fish.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in a great position. I mean, if you can make it a habit where you have, just replace rather if people have ground beef or chicken, just have fish instead. You could have any kind of fish. I mean,
Okay.
tilapia, do you do shrimp at all?
I do.
What?
I try to stay away from shrimp, but yeah.
Yeah,
just
that's
because-
fine. So
Yeah, but yeah, I do. I can do all seafood. Yeah, there's no restrictions there.
yeah, awesome. I mean, literally just like tilapia, any fish you could have. Do you have any questions on that? I mean, those.
I
Yeah.
think after a while, I mean, because I've been pescatarian for some years now, but after a while, I think the only thing that with me is getting the right amount
Okay.
because I do work out, and so that's another
Nice.
factor is just making sure I have a lot of high protein.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
beans
crank it.
and fish is like that's the consistency of what my diet is.
100%. And have you seen where you're at?
No,
Okay,
I'm
do
not
it.
tracking. I did download that app, so thank you for
Nice.
that. So I'll start to track it, and maybe that might help me to be able to
That's
get a
awesome.
handle on it.
I'm excited to see where you're at. Because
too.
that's gonna really give us a good gauge to see if we need to add anything. Are you doing any vegetable protein powders right now?
No, I'm trying to find some. So I don't. If you have any suggestions, I'll take it. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think Jeff just put one in there.
Okay, I'll write that down. Thank
That's
you.
perfect. So yeah, I mean, any vegetable protein is good. Just look for the ones with the highest amount of protein per serving. You can get the best bang for your buck that way.
Okay.
Other than that, Jewel, I would say track because then we can actually see. And I wouldn't even worry right now about actually ordering that protein yet until next week because then you can actually see you might be getting enough already. We don't know until you track, but once we get those numbers, we're gonna know. And I think you're crushing it, lifting the weights, focusing on the protein. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. My only other factor is the 10 steps too, like
10K
I
steps.
work from home so that I do work out, but my
Yep.
workout it's a lot of lifting. So a lot of
Yeah,
times
that's awesome.
that.
That's really good. And the
I'm
10K
working towards
steps,
it.
that's just going to help you burn more fat through the day. The lifting is going to help you keep the muscle, build the metabolism, everything like that. And you're just going to help, the 10K steps is just going to help you keep it lean. And that's phenomenal, but it's going to